There is something living in your mind that you did not invite. It arrived on its own. It stays on its own. And no matter how many times you have tried to reason with it, negotiate with it, or simply outlast it, it is still there. The thing you did not do, the thing you said, the version of the road you did not take, the moment you would change if changing moments were something available to human beings. You know what yours is. You did not need me to describe it. It was already present before this sentence arrived. Regret is one of the most studied experiences in human psychology. Researchers have spent decades mapping its contours, cataloging what people regret most, tracking how it changes over a lifetime, measuring what it costs in terms of health, happiness, the quality of an ordinary day. And what they found is both obvious and, when you sit with it, quietly devastating. The things people regret most are almost never the things they did. They are the things they didn't. The conversation not started, the risk not taken, the version of themselves they kept meaning to become and kept not becoming until the window, real or imagined, closed. The action regrets fade. The inaction regrets compound. I want to talk about why, because understanding this is not just interesting. It is the difference between spending the next decade in the same relationship with the past, or beginning, slowly, to have a different one. When you do something, even something that goes wrong, you have information. You know what happened. You can trace the consequences. You can adjust. You can tell yourself a story that includes the attempt, the failure, and whatever came after. The story has a shape, a beginning, a middle, something that functions as an end. And the mind, which is a meaning-making machine above almost everything else, can work with that. It can find the lesson, the silver lining, the version of the story in which the thing that went wrong was part of something larger. But when you don't do the thing, when you hold back, stay silent, choose the safer path, the mind has nothing to work with except imagination. And imagination, when it is turned toward the road not taken, is not neutral. It does not show you an accurate picture of what might have been. It shows you the best version. The version where you said the thing and it landed perfectly, where you took the risk and it paid off exactly as hoped, where you became the person you kept meaning to become and it felt exactly as it was supposed to feel. And that imagined best version never ages, never disappoints, never reveals its complications or its costs. It stays perfect, permanently. And every time you return to it, which the mind does, unbidden, repeatedly, you measure your actual life against that perfect imagined alternative. And your actual life always loses. This is the machinery of regret, not punishment from outside, not a moral verdict on the choices you made, a cognitive process, automatic, almost universal, and, if left unexamined, capable of running for the rest of your life. I want to ask you something about the specific regret that came to mind when I began speaking. How long have you been carrying it? Not as a rhetorical question. Actually, how long? Months? Years? Decades? And in all that time, has carrying it changed anything? Has the weight of it rewritten what happened? Has the returning to it, again and again, in the quiet, in the space between sleeping and waking, produced anything other than more returning? I am not asking this to be cruel. I am asking it because the answer is almost always the same. And the answer is no. The carrying has not changed it. The weight has not undone it. The returning has not resolved it. It has only continued it. And somewhere, in a part of you that is more honest than comfortable, you already know this. You have known it for a long time. So why does the mind keep returning? This is the question worth asking. Not how to stop the regret, but why it persists in the face of its own uselessness. The answer, I think, is that regret is not actually about the past. It is about control. The mind returns to what it could not control, to the moment of choice, the fork in the road, the thing that was in your hands and then was not. Because in the returning, there is a fantasy of revision. If I go back there enough times, in memory, in imagination, maybe I will find something I missed. Maybe the outcome will shift. Maybe I can, through the sheer force of enough attention, retroactively change what has already happened. The mind knows this is impossible, and it tries anyway. Because the alternative, accepting that what is done, that the door is closed, that the version of the road not taken will remain forever not taken, is one of the hardest things a human being can do. Acceptance is not resignation. I want to be precise about that because the words are often confused. Resignation says, it doesn't matter. I give up. Whatever happens, happens. The outcome is beyond me, and I have stopped caring. Acceptance says something entirely different. Acceptance says, this happened, exactly as it happened, with the information I had at the time, from the person I was at the time, in the circumstances that existed at the time, and no amount of returning to it will make it otherwise. So I am going to stop spending the present trying to revise the past, and start spending the present in the only place where anything can actually be done. Here, now, with what is still in my hands. There is something else worth saying about regret that most people have not considered. The version of you who made the choice you now regret was not you as you are now. They had less information, less experience, less of the perspective that only comes from having lived through what came after. You are judging a past self with a present mind, and that is, always, an unfair trial. The person who didn't take the risk was afraid, and the fear was real, and the information available to them made the safer choice look like the reasonable choice. They were not stupid. They were not cowardly. They were a person doing what people do when they are uncertain and the stakes feel high and the outcome is unknowable. They were human, and they deserve, from you, the same compassion you would extend to someone else who made the same choice under the same circumstances. The way out of regret is not through it. It is not by going back into it one more time with more intensity or more understanding or a better framework for processing what happened. The way out is forward, not by forgetting, not by pretending it didn't matter, not by performing peace you haven't found, but by recognizing, slowly, imperfectly, over time, that the energy you are spending looking backward is energy that belongs to the life still ahead of you, which is not nothing, which is, in fact, the only thing. You cannot undo what happened, but you are, right now, in the process of making the choices that your future self will either carry as regret or remember as the moment things began to change. The fork is not behind you. It is here. It is always here. The question is not, what would I have done differently then? The question is, what am I choosing now? Put down the past. Not all at once, not permanently, not with a decision you make once and never have to make again. But today, in this moment, put it down. and look at what is in front of you with the same quality of attention you have been giving to what is behind. The past had its chance. It was real. It mattered. And it is finished. This, right now, is not finished. This is still happening. And what happens in it is still, at least in part, up to you.